Hi guys, and welcome to the Family Fudge. Today I'm going to share with you 3 super easy, kid-friendly freezer meals. These are very budget-friendly and you can make all 3 in less than an hour. So stay tuned. My husband and I are headed off on a work trip soon, and I wanted to create some freezer meals to send with the kids to Grandma's house. Now I'm actually going to be making all 3 of these meals with one rotisserie chicken, so it's super easy and, like I said, budget friendly as well. Now before we jump right in, make sure to hit that red subscribe button if you haven't already, and go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you like freezer meals. Now let's get started. First up, I'm making some chicken bacon subs. For this, I'm going to be using some ciabatta rolls. Now, I actually was going to make 6 of these, but one of my kids got into them, so now I'm only making 5, but that's okay. I'm also going to be using some shredded chicken from our rotisserie chicken, a few slices of cooked bacon, some cheddar cheese, some butter, some garlic powder, and some Italian seasoning. I'm going to go ahead and put the full recipe in the description box below if you'd like to check it out. I'm going to start by chopping up the bacon, and it really just depends on how many sandwiches you want to make, but I'm using about 6 pieces. I'm going to get this bacon into my mixing bowl and then move on to the chicken. I've already removed it from the bone, but now I just want to chop it up pretty finely. Not only will it fit better on our sandwiches, but it's going to be easier for my kids to eat it. Next comes the cheese. Now you're going to want to use plenty of cheese here, and you really could use any kind you prefer. I'm using some cheddar cheese, but this would also be great with some mozzarella or even pepper jack if you like it spicy. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder and a few shakes of Italian seasoning, and I'm just going to eyeball this here. Then I'm going to mix it all together. To make these sandwiches really easy to store in the freezer, I'm going to use some sheets of foil. I find these at the dollar store and they're super handy. I'm actually going to build my sandwich right on top. So I'm going to take my bread and open it up. This is just a very soft ciabatta roll. They're very yummy. And then to each side I'm going to add a little bit of softened butter. Next, I'm going to add the chicken, bacon, and cheese filling, and I'm really going to pile it high. I'm going to put as much as I can. I want these sandwiches to be nice and full, so I'm really going to pack it down in there. Then all I have to do is add my top piece of bread and wrap it up. Once all of the sandwiches are assembled, it's time to get them into a freezer bag, which I like to label with what it is and the date. Now generally these will stay good in the freezer for about 3 months, but my freezer meals don't usually last that long. We usually end up using them within the next couple of weeks. When it's time to serve these, you have several options. Number 1, I like to defrost them in the fridge overnight, and then I'll go ahead and add all of them to my crock pot, and in about an hour they will all be warmed through and ready to eat. Or you could actually take them out of the foil, put them in the microwave, or even stick them in the toaster oven. It's totally up to you. Now just before serving, you could add some veggies or even some mayo, whatever you prefer. My kids love any combination of chicken and bacon. It is so good. Next up, I'm going to make my creamy baked chicken taquitos. Now you guys, these are not traditional taquitos, I totally get that. But when it comes to making kid-friendly meals, you really just have to go with what you know your kids are going to be okay with, even if that means shying away from tradition. As long as it tastes good and they like it, that's what's important. And of course, I'll go ahead and put a link to this recipe in the description box below. But I'm going to start by adding 1/3 of a block of room temperature cream cheese to my mixing bowl. To this I'm going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of a very mild green salsa. My kids are totally okay with this as long as it's mild. But if you have some really picky eaters, you can totally leave it out. Next, I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of taco seasoning. Again, I'm keeping this mild, but you could add more if you'd like. And then I'm just going to mix it up. After that, it's time for the cheese. Now I'm using about 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese, and I'm also going to add some green onions. My kids are okay with green onions. They definitely prefer those over regular onions. I'm just going to make sure to chop these kind of small. And I'm just going to use the greens. To this I'm going to add about 3 cups of my rotisserie chicken, and I do want to chop this pretty small. It'll fit better in my taquitos and it'll be easier for the kids to eat. Once this is all combined, I'm going to give it a taste and see if I want to add any more seasoning. I ended up adding a little bit more of my green salsa and a little bit more taco seasoning. And now it's time to add these to the tortillas. I like to use the smaller size tortillas for my kids, but I do like to stuff them pretty full. That way the kids are only going to need about 1 or 2 a piece, and that's going to be enough for them. So you just have to get your filling in there and roll them up. As I'm making these, I'm going to add them to an aluminum pan, and then when I have them all done, I'm going to stick the whole pan into the freezer for about an hour. That way they're mostly frozen when I stick them in my freezer bag, and they won't stick together. When it's time to serve these, you can actually take them directly from the freezer and put them into your toaster oven or your regular oven until warmed through. And I like to create a yummy dipping sauce for these with a little bit of Greek yogurt and taco sauce. I just mix the two together. These are so yummy and creamy and cheesy. The kids love them, and I'm a big fan too. Lastly, I'm going to throw together a cheesy buffalo chicken tater tot casserole. This is a good way to use up all the leftover rotisserie chicken. I'm also going to use some tater tots, some cream of celery soup, some sour cream, some cheddar cheese, and some Frank's hot sauce. Now my kids are totally okay with this as long as I just use a little bit. They've had it plenty of times before. But if your kids are really sensitive, you definitely could leave it out. I'm going to start by adding my cream of celery soup to my mixing bowl. And I'm using cream of celery because it's a great combination with the buffalo wing sauce. But you could definitely use chicken if you'd like. So I'm going to add my sour cream, about 1/4 cup of my hot sauce, not too much. Then in goes the cheddar cheese, and I'm going to mix it all together. Now to make this freezer friendly and easy to clean up, I'm going to use an aluminum pan, and I'm going to spray it just to make sure nothing sticks. To the bottom of my pan, I'm going to add all of my rotisserie chicken. To this, I'm going to add my soup, sour cream, and cheese mixture. Then all I have to do is spread this out and add my potatoes. I'm going to cover this with aluminum foil, and I do like to write exactly what's on top just with the Sharpie directly onto the foil, and then you just stick it in the freezer. The night before I want to cook this, I'm going to remove it from the freezer and let it defrost in the fridge. Then all I have to do is pop it in my oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. And there you have it, golden brown and toasty and bubbly. It is so good. Super quick, super easy, and even my pickiest eaters will eat these dinners. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.